Hey, it's Mark with Mark's Virtual Real Estate Channel. We're back with another Upland video, and there's a few things I want to talk about in this video. One being, I heard that Upland actually changed some of the things after I made my last video about some of the most annoying things about Upland, so I don't know if that was because of my video or just random, but we'll see if that works. I haven't tried it yet. And then I wanted to talk about new cities and new city releases and some of the other things in Upland going on right now. I feel like there have been very few releases, and that's kind of the most fun part of the game, at least for me, and why I came to Upland in the first place as a real estate investor in real life. The properties are what drew me to Upland, not a bunch of the other stuff they've got going on right now. So, the first thing, well, of course, I love the likes, comments, shares, all of that good stuff. And I do have a real YouTube channel as well, Mark Ferguson Invest for More, if you want to see my real properties. Here I am in Sao Paulo still, and I heard that they changed it so that when you go to a different property, let's see if I can, I don't want to go to Sao Paulo, I want to go, okay, let's go to Los Angeles. Before, when you clicked on a property on a trade or something like this, it took you away from that property after you're done there. So it took me to this property, and let's see what happens if I stay. No. Okay. Dang it. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can, maybe they didn't fix it. I thought someone said that when you went there, you could stay in that spot. Well, that didn't work for that spot, so maybe let's type in an address somewhere. I don't know if it will even let me. Is there even a main street in... Give me a main street somewhere. Oh, come on. All right. Well, this is going swimmingly well. If I scroll all the way to here, I can go to Upland, one of our lazy nodes, and look at these properties, but then it will keep me here, but I had to scroll all the way over there. So this isn't very helpful. Oh, look at all the decorations. Wow. That place is amazing. Look at all those butterflies. By the way, we still have the Lazy Node contest going, so if you want to donate more Spark to that contest, now would be a great time to do it. That would be my last video, as a short that we did. But I'm trying to figure out, this is, let's see, I don't know what address to type in here. Oh, let's see here. Grand River. Nothing is showing up. Usually their search option. Well, so you can see how well that issue was fixed, I guess. Usually when you type in just like the start of a street, it will take you there. Okay. Nothing. All right, maybe it's just not working at all. Anyway, well, there goes that idea. So, that was the main thing I want to check, was see if that was fixed. But hold on, let me check Discord and see what they said. If I look at Marketplace and open a property card, then after closing it, it stays there. Okay, so that would be, we're gonna go to a different town. If you click on a property for sale, okay, did it stay there? That didn't really stay there, did it? So I don't think... Okay, so my hopes and dreams that they had changed something and fixed something maybe have been dashed. Let's see if we zoom in a little closer and just go... Property for sale. Down there. Okay, we click off of it. It isn't fixed. Never mind. Maybe that was a glitch where it was fixed for just a little while. Okay, so another thing I want to talk about in Upland is I got an email saying my store was approved. I just need to send in my pictures again, which I'd already done like weeks ago. And as you can see, I still don't have my store. I sent in the pictures, no word, nothing at all. I emailed Upland again, no response, nothing at all. It's been weeks, so maybe I'm not getting a store. So they got me all excited thinking I was getting a store, I was going to be approved. And then nothing, no communication, nothing for weeks after that. So slightly annoying there. All right, the other thing I really wanted to make most of this video about are the city releases. And that's why I really came to Upland and why I really like Upland. And the last city release we had was Sao Paulo. That's where my Explorer is here. And it was a tiny release, only 4 neighborhoods, as you can see, very few collections, not super exciting. I made some money there, sold some properties there, but, you know, just wasn't like a normal city release, right? And then I have on my playlist on my YouTube channel right here of all of the city releases recently. So I think most of my videos for city releases are on these playlists. So I could go back and see when these cities were released, because I tried to find a list and I couldn't find one anywhere. And you can see Sao Paulo was a month ago, although if we click on this,
Hey,
we'll mute it. Did it have the actual date that I just 1 month ago? Oh, there it is, February 23rd. So that's actually 6 weeks ago. Almost, not quite 2 months ago. So that was a while that release, and we have heard nothing about a new release, which means it's probably going to take at least another 2 weeks from now, at the most, before we have another city release. And I clicked the wrong button. So it could be a very long time till, 2 months between city releases for tiny city releases, right? This is not a full city release. And if we go back before that, we can go to Buenos Aires, which was a city release before that. And if we go to Upland and go down here, Buenos Aires is right here. Oh, do my daily check-in. You can see here, that's Justin waving at me in my office. Buenos Aires was another very, very small release, right? We had a little more collections, bigger than Sao Paulo, not big at all. I still have some properties here. I made some money in Buenos Aires as well. And that release happened. If we click on this, there's my minting video. And this happened January 19th. So they actually had a kind of a quick release between Buenos Aires and Sao Paulo, and now they've had this big break. But again, this is a small release, not a big release at all. And then if we click back here, the most recent release before that was Rio, which was the 4th Rio release. So Rio is kind of like a full city almost. I think they said there might still be more city releases there, but if we go to Rio, we can see it's bigger. See, it's got all these neighborhoods released. And that was kind of a fun release too, although a lot of my properties haven't really been selling as much as I thought in Rio. I did sell some along here, but some of my beachfront, big, nice properties on the beach have not been selling. And that's not a crazy mint. That's less than a 100% markup for a beachfront big property. Still, lots of stuff not minted. You can see that. So that Rio release was okay, but not amazing. But that took, that happened, if we look here, 4 months ago, maybe longer than that, another partial release. And then we had the Dallas release, if we go here, 6 months ago. And if we go to Dallas, we'll check out that city release here. There's Dallas right there. And there's Dallas and Arlington at the same time. You can see one neighborhood in Arlington. What is that? There's more. Dallas was a little bigger release, but still not a full city release either. And prices were so expensive there. That was crazy. That was 6 months ago. And if we keep going back here, Porto was not a full release. This was the second Porto release, was 6 months ago. And then we had, let's see here, the first Porto release. Oh no, then we had Rio. Rio release number 3 was 7 months ago. Then we had the Porto release 7 months ago too. And so they're doing stuff real quick for a while. Now it seems like it's really slowed down, or it's very sporadic. And then let's see here. Porto, Rio release number 2 8 months ago. I'm glad I have all these videos. Rio released in FSA, Rio collections. Here's a real release 8 months ago, the first one. What do we have before Rio? This is kind of interesting going back and looking at all these. Oh, these shouldn't be in this. I need to redo my playlist and make sure those videos. Las Vegas, we had Las Vegas. Was that about 9 months ago? And if we go to Vegas, it was not a full city release either. It was pretty small. You can see very small, actually, like a big geographic area, but not that many properties. And then, so Vegas was 10 months ago. Vegas wasn't a very good release for me either. And then we had the Queens release 11 months ago. Oh, let's see. Maybe. There it is. 11 months ago we had the Queens release, which was kind of the last full city release Upland has had almost a year ago. And that sounds kind of crazy, and we'll talk about that. But let's keep going here. Oh, we had Detroit before that. Queens was such a fun release for me. Even though I didn't do like super amazing, it's still tons of fun. Detroit was an amazing release for me. I love Detroit. That was so much fun. That was a year ago. Let's see here. What do we have before Detroit? Was it LA? See how many videos I did about these big, like, I was having fun, so I was doing more videos, doing more stuff. Now it's like, I don't know. Oh, Berkeley. Was that Berkeley? Okay, and they had stress tests. I like the stress tests too. But Berkeley was before that, which was kind of a full city release. It was an addition to kind of the San Francisco or Oakland, right? Oakland area. But still, like, it's like Queens. It's its own city in addition to New York. Big release. And Berkeley was like that too. Berkeley was fun. Oh, Los Angeles. I wonder why I mentioned Berkeley there, because I thought Berkeley was before LA. Yes, I think that was okay. Then we had Los Angeles, which was a rough release for a lot of people, just because there's so many properties and so expensive. I think they realized maybe you don't release in one of the biggest cities in the world all at once. That might have been a mistake and make it really expensive. But I can give them some, don't have to give them too much flack because they try something, figure out it doesn't work, change things from there. That's okay. That doesn't mean you have to change the whole strategy of the game. But then we go through, is that when I started I thought I should have some Bronx videos and things like that. So maybe I need to go through all my videos and make sure the playlists are right. But we haven't had a full city release in almost a year now. And like, you can see Las Vegas, the size of Las Vegas. Here is Los Angeles, which was crazy huge, right? And they did that in like 2 sections, but it's still very close to each other, releasing North and South Los Angeles. We had Berkeley was released with, why can't I even think of what that little island was called? Alameda. And so that was a decent size release. And those are kind of cool too, because you can pick, hey, which one do you want to go for? Which one do you want to mint in? It gives plenty of opportunity for people. And this addition to, Oakland was bigger than almost all of the releases they've done in the last year. And that was still a fun release. And Queens, which is kind of the last full city release, we can see. I wish they had, that's something else people suggested, is having a border separating Queens from, the Bronx and Long Island. What is that one? See, I don't even remember where this, which town everything is. But if you had a border so you know what suburb you're in or city you're in, that'd be amazing. But Queens was a ton of fun. It was a huge release. The Bronx was tons of fun. And those were so much more fun to me than jumping to wherever that is. Where did I go? Oh, New Orleans. Okay. And these partial releases, especially Sao Paulo, is so small. You have no collections going on hardly. There's really, the one of the elements of Upland that makes it so fun in life in general, interesting, and what millions of dollars is built around is anticipation, the sense of gambling a little bit, of trying to hit it big. And when you do the full release, right, there's so much anticipation of where the collections are going to be. You're going to have rare collections, ultra rare collections. There's so many more properties to speculate on and buy on, and that builds that anticipation, that builds value and action and things happening and moving, and the opportunity to make or lose money, which I think is something that draws people to Upland. Is you had the chance to really hit some really big and fancy properties and ultra rare properties, things like that. When you have a release with 4 neighborhoods, everybody knew there wasn't going to be any rare, ultra rare stuff here, because there weren't even any cool streets. There were no streets for collections. It was almost as boring as one of the Rio releases that literally had 0 collections, and you knew that beforehand. So I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if it's because Upland is just focusing on clothes now and city decorations and weird things like that, which I really don't care about. You jump to weird places, and that's where their focus is instead of the city releases. I'm not sure. FIFA took a whole lot of, bandwidth and effort, that whole thing. So maybe that was part of the problem, that they're just focusing now on other things and don't have time to do these city releases. That could be it. But to me, the fun part, the thing that brought players into the game, the thing that gets people, putting money into the game too, are the city releases and the ability to say, hey, I might make a lot of money doing this and I could hit it big. And I put money into the game before the big city releases, Detroit, Queens, because I wanted to have enough UPX, because I knew I could really, do very well in those cities. For the small city releases, there's no way I'm putting any money into the game, right? There's no way, and I've got enough UPX built up, I don't have to, because it's been so long since we had a really big city release, and I haven't used all of my UPX. And so I don't see why I would put more money in the game when I don't have to, and it's not that exciting. So I would say it's time for a big city release, a big deal, even if you have to do these big city releases like every 3 months, right? You have more time between them. I think that would be much more fun and much more exciting than having these small, tiny, partial releases every month, or even every 2 months, which aren't even happening that often anyway. And I can tell you, one of the least exciting parts of the game is having a 4th city release where there's probably not going to be any cool collections, and all the cool neighborhoods in the town have already been released. So I can see why they did their strategy. They wanted to limit how many properties were selling, to limit demand, hopefully bump up prices and sales. But if they just lowered prices, like they had pretty low prices in Queens, they had pretty low prices in the Bronx, they had relatively low prices in Berkeley and Alameda, they're a little higher. But then they got into pushing the envelope in Los Angeles and just trying to get crazy with prices and the number of properties. And that was a mistake. And it's fine to make mistakes, but learn from them, change, say, hey, okay, we're not going to make a massive, really expensive city release like that. Let's keep things under control. I think they'd bring so many more people into the game and be so much more fun. Because right now, it's hard to convince people, hey, you should come check out Upland, it's a really fun game, when you have a tiny city release and it's not that exciting. So there isn't that much excitement in buying an FSA property and selling it for double when you're talking about paying $5 or $10 in real life and selling it for 15 or 20 bucks. If you want to get people excited, you've really got to bring in these full city releases, bring in the ultra rare stuff, bring in the ability to really, I've had releases where I made over $1 million UPX, $1,000 in real life, which really isn't even that much in the grand scheme of things, but it was exciting enough for the game, and that's what really brought me into it. So Upland, if you're listening, which I thought maybe you were at the start of this video, now I'm not so sure after checking out the user play, why aren't we having more city releases and big city releases that are fun, brought in the most people, and probably brought in the most money to Upland as well? All right. That's all I've got for this video. We'll have more contests. Love to see you guys in the Discord. We have a link to that below in the description. And love to see people hanging out on the lazy nodes. Those are a lot of fun in Neponset and Queens and Henry Ford in Detroit. All right, take care. Be back soon.